Hello, this is HBM's Crypto-Corner for Wednesday, August 22nd, 2018. Sorry there wasn't a show last week. This crazy stuff's been happening around here, so did not have a show, but I'm back this week, and I got some goodies to show you guys. These are items I received within the past week. I actually received this last Monday. It's the classic Sasquatch by Don Hunter with Renee DeHinden. This is the classic paperback from Signet Books from 1975. I have read this, by the way. It's great. It's one of the best books, one of the better books that I think that's been written on the subject. And I mean, all the classics are in here. All the classic stories, and they're told from Renee's unique perspective. We'll just put it that way. If anybody had a unique perspective on this mystery, it was this guy. Speaking of Renee, you guys ought to take a listen to the latest Talking Old Timers with Thomas on Monster X Radio. Really tremendous episode that was aired this past Sunday, and yeah, you guys got to check it out. It's great stuff. It's part 2 of Thomas Steenberg discussing his old friend Renee DeHinden. And if you missed part 1, it's also on the blogtalkradio.com/MonsterXRadio site in the archives. So do give it a listen one time, won't you? Also got this classic, the Bigfoot Casebook. This is the original hardcover, by the way. And the actual cover itself is kind of beat up. It's not in the best of conditions. But it was cheaper than the one which had the pristine cover. Not the best cover, but you know, I wasn't really looking for one with the best cover. I just wanted the book. So I managed to find a cheaper copy of it. I've never had the hardcover. I had the paperback version of this at one time, but I never had the hardcover. So this is the hardcover version of it. And of course, I also have Bigfoot Casebook Updated, which was released in 2006 by Pine Winds Press. And this is one of the great classics right here. If you've never read this book, that's definitely one you want to check out and peruse for yourself. Then yesterday I got a couple of cool items. This is Horror Hound magazine from February 2015. And there's a couple of cool articles in here. One is about Creature Replica. Right there. They had not released the figures as of yet, but this was about the upcoming figure line. And even right here, there's a mention of the Ohio Bigfoot Conference. You can celebrate all things Sasquatch at the Ohio Bigfoot Conference 2015, which will take place at Salt Fork Lodge on May 16, 2015. Visit OhioBigfootConference.com for more information. So that's pretty cool that they kind of gave some advertisement to the OBC. You can see, of course, some of the prototype photos and things of that nature. And there's also an article about the other cryptids. This looks like a sea serpent or something like that. Mothman, Chupacabra, Jersey Devil. And then there's a rather lengthy article, which I have not read yet, by David Coleman about Bigfoot, A Guide to Bigfoot Cinema. Now, of course, Dave wrote the book, the excellent book, The Bigfoot Filmography. And he put all kinds of cool facts in that book about these different movies, different TV shows. He really did his homework on this stuff. He did an amazing job with that particular book. And yeah, you guys got to get that one. If you're interested in Bigfoot cinema and Bigfoot TV shows and documentaries, things like that, that's the book to get. This is a pretty lengthy article. They go from classic Bigfoot movies to some of the more recent ones. You can see right there, Exists, Willow Creek. One called Bigfoot Wars with C. Thomas Howell. So, yeah, this is a pretty cool magazine, and oh, this one's definitely worth picking up for sure. If you can find a copy of it on eBay, or you can find it at horrorhound.com. They also have back issues. They have all the back issues, I believe, or most of them, available on that website. Finally is this. This is the audiobook version of Finding Bigfoot, the book by Martha Brackenbrow, I think that was her name. This is the audiobook version. This is read by Cliff Barrickman. It's 5 CDs of the entire book. And disc 5 actually includes a bonus PDF with maps and illustrations. So these are some pretty cool little items. And I just thought I'd show you guys my newest acquisitions. And we're going to get into the main news segment here in just a bit. Main news segment. There's some wildfires happening. We know about the ones in California, which are affecting different areas, including near Hoopa, apparently. Not too far from Willow Creek. But there's also wildfires happening in British Columbia in Sasquatch country. Wildfire near Agassiz forces closure of Highway 7 and Sasquatch Provincial Park. Now, for those who don't know anything about Sasquatch Provincial Park, there have been alleged sightings at Sasquatch Provincial Park. I mean, that's why they call it that, because of all the sightings that have taken place there. And they also have a link to BC Wildfires map. For those who are in BC, you want to know where the wildfires are, where they're going, you can check that map out. 140 hectare High Creek wildfire burning about 10 kilometers from Agassiz, above Highway 7, and was 0% contained on Saturday. Now that would have been Saturday almost 2 weeks ago, because this article was released on August 11th. Now, Agassiz is famous because that's where John Green owned the Agassiz Advance, which was a local newspaper. You can see the location of the High Creek wildfire. It says the Sasquatch Provincial Park is closed as of noon on Saturday. That would be, again, Saturday 2 weeks ago. As a result, all campers and other park visitors have been asked to vacate the area. Highway 7 was also closed in both directions between Chowett Road and Johnson Slough to allow crew and aircraft movement. So, there's a pretty serious situation going on in BC, not just in Northern California, with these forest fires. So, be careful. Be very careful, folks. Do not drive into areas where there's forest fires. If you think you can make it through it, I don't think you can. If you get surrounded by burning trees and you can't get out, you're done. You're finished. You're gone. So do not try and drive into these areas. Do not try and drive through these areas. You will not make it, believe me. I mean, I don't recommend anybody try and drive into or through these fires. So, yeah, don't risk your life. Don't kill yourself just to get to where you need to go. Find an alternate route or just stay home. Pretty cool article. Stomping Around the Woods, 6 of the best Bigfoot movies. This is from bloodydisgusting.com, which is one of the top horror sites and horror movie sites there is around here. And the 6 movies that they pick are, this is one of the more recent ones right here, Primal Rage, which I really enjoyed Primal Rage myself. Willow Creek, yeah, the Bobcat Goldthwait movie. Letters from the Big Man. Now that's an interesting choice because it's not really a horror movie per se. But, I mean, the suit that is used in that movie is really good. I've praised the suit in this movie several times. Really good suit. There's Legend of Boggy Creek. That's definitely a classic. Of course, that's about to be restored for Blu-ray and for HD release. Exists from Eduardo Sanchez. That's a great one. You guys got to see this one. I mean, it's one of the best ones, I think. From the same guy who brought us the Blair Witch Project. And Abominable. Yes, I mean, that one. To me, this is sort of an underrated one, but it's really well done. It's really good. I mean, it's amazing. Matt McCoy and Haley, or is it Haley Joel? Yeah, not Haley Joel Osment. Her name is not. It's a female actress, blonde actress. That's her, as a matter of fact. Not Haley Joel Osment. Let's see. They mentioned about Lance Henriksen and Jeffrey Combs are in it. Rex Lynn, who is currently starring on Better Call Saul, along with D. Wallace Stone, are in that. So, yeah, Abominable is a good one. I think they just released it on Blu-ray not too long ago also. So, if you can find a good Blu-ray of this, of Abominable, yeah, definitely pick it up. It's one of my favorites. Abominable is very underrated. But I thought the suit was really great. This is a great suit that they used for this movie, for the Bigfoot in this movie, or the Yeti. And I like the plot. The plot is very tight. It's tremendous. So yeah, you owe it to yourself to see this one. Matter of fact, you owe it to yourself to see all the movies that they have listed here. They're all equally great. Well, our old friend Todd Standing is back. And, well, he's been told by the BC government to stick to hunting the Sasquatches. You know, don't worry about filing a lawsuit, which that is what Todd Standing has done. He decided he was going to sue someone over the fact that nobody is taking him seriously. Nobody's taking Todd Standing and his claims seriously. Now, that could be because they don't take Sasquatch seriously. I mean, it could be argued, I suppose. But it's interesting that the provincial government was trying to get the suit thrown about because it lacks the air of reality. Now, is that a reference to Sasquatch in general, or is that a reference to Todd Standing in particular? You know, that's what I'm wondering. You know, Todd Standing says, if I'm right, this is the discovery of the millennium, and it's not wasting anybody's time. It's an extremely important issue. His main argument is that the government has been hurting his ability to make a living and damaging his credibility by not acknowledging the existence of the creature. He also makes the argument that the BC government has been neglectful in looking after the mythical creature. He says he has irrefutable evidence that Sasquatch is real. Well, I got news for you. Nobody has any obligation to look at someone's evidence and say, wait a minute, I've been wrong this whole time. I mean, it doesn't matter who it is. It could be Todd Standing, it could be Jeff Melder, it could be Cliff Barrickman, it could be any of these individuals. It doesn't matter. Nobody is obligated to look at your evidence, Mr. Standing. You know, if they want to deny the existence of these creatures, that's their right. You know, do I agree with it? No. But it's their right. You know, Standing says here, they're trying to deny my evidence without even looking at it. They've gone at this with a sledgehammer. My lawyer is arguing that they at least need to hear the evidence before deciding. He says he has physical evidence, including DNA, videotapes, and eyewitness testimony. Well, eyewitness testimony is not physical evidence. DNA, yeah, it could be argued that it's physical evidence, but the only problem is you have to have something to compare it to. And videotapes are not going to prove it either. Any video these days is going to be automatically suspect. I mean, even the Patterson-Gimlin film, which was shot 51 years ago, is still not accepted. So what makes Todd Standing believe that he is going to automatically be the guy who makes people believe in Bigfoot because he has footage? Footage has never been acceptable to a lot of individuals. Oh, and by the way, for just the low price of $4,800, he'll take people out into the wilderness to see a Sasquatch for themselves. I mean, he wants the government to send a biologist out there with him for a similar expedition. Well, now, how can he guarantee that unless he, hoaxes something? It is insufficient for the province to take the position that Sasquatch does not exist, then do nothing about it when the public raises concerns and provides evidence that Sasquatch exists, his lawyer said on Tuesday. Lawyers for the province are arguing in a very exasperated tone, I assume, that the suit is dropped and that the idea that a province should recognize an animal isn't something the court should decide. Supreme Court judge has reserved his decision in this case, and we won't know if Sasquatch is real or not for a couple of months. Well, like I said, I mean, the government is not obligated to go, and they're not obligated to send a biologist out with him either. Maybe they figure they can use their time more wisely. Maybe they figure they can use their resources more wisely. And I'm not picking on Todd Standing. If it seems like I am, I'm really not. Even though I'm not particularly a big fan of his, I'm not picking on just him. They would do this with anybody, with any Bigfoot researcher who tries to bring up a lawsuit and make claims that they can't back up. Again, it has nothing to do with Todd Standing. I guess he seems to think he's being picked on. He's being targeted and singled out. But I mean, it's like persecution complex. They're picking on me. No, they're not picking on you, Todd. They would do this to any Bigfoot researcher, regardless. If I had indisputable evidence, or what I thought was indisputable evidence, and I go to Washington and present it to the to officials up there, they're going to laugh me out of the building. You don't sue the government just because they're not taking steps to look for Bigfoot. They got more important things to worry about right now. So, Todd, I'm sorry, but you're barking up the wrong tree. That last article was from Vice. This one's also from Vice. Why Canada Needs the Sasquatch. With the right backing from the scientific community and the Canadian government, this could be our Manhattan Project. Of course, we see shots from the Patterson-Gimlin film. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be a sarcastic article or not. It hasn't been a great year for those of us in the suspect the Sasquatch might be a real thing community. This was supposed to be the year of scientific evidence, of the settling of all bets. This was meant to be the year in which conclusive, not just your buddy and have a horse costume proof would be discovered. No questions asked, no more teasing, no more you boys been drinking. This was where it was all supposed to end, but it didn't. Now, this is referring to the Melba Ketchum stuff. And this was before the Brian Sykes. This was before the Brian Sykes material emerged. Now, this is an interesting article. But there is some extemporaneous language in this article. Language that isn't really suitable for younger audiences. But I am going to link this article, as I'm going to link all the articles. I mean, there is reference to the Melville Ketchum study. As it turned out, the groundbreaking study that Bigfoot Insiders, That's a Thing You Can Be, had promised would prove the existence of the long thought to be BS ape man turned out to be a shady self-published affair by a Texas veterinarian who believes Sasquatch contains things like angel DNA. It's all getting kind of desperate. People are losing hope. Though the Oxford-Lausanne Collateral Hominid Project is still collecting hair and flesh samples from various camouflage-outfitted cryptozoologists, this is also a thing you can be. Sasquatch types on the internet seem to be regressing into a sort of paranoid, creationist-like state. They're full of dark speculation about historical cover-ups and appear willing to accept obvious hoaxes at face value. And it also discusses Rick Dyer and some other things. Talks about how Quachi was the mascot at the Winter Olympics, which were held in Vancouver in 2011, or 2010 rather. And some interesting stuff. There's a picture of the sign at Sasquatch Provincial Park. But interesting article. I would highly recommend reading it. So again, I'm going to link it below. And good stuff. Alright folks, that's going to do it for this week. Thank you very much for tuning in. And I'm going to try and have an episode up every Wednesday. Hopefully things won't get so crazy around here. And again, and I have over 1,400 subscribers. And thank you very much. You guys probably saw the video that I did, where I thanked you guys. So hey, you guys are the heart of the show. You guys are the backbone of this show. And if you've got some information that you've heard about, if there's something happening that I haven't heard about, that you've heard about, let me know. Let me know in the comments section below. There's a few events coming up. There's Cryptid-Con, which I believe is the weekend of September 8th and 9th in Frankfort, Kentucky. I think the website is cryptidcon.com or .net or something like that. Just do a Google search for it. Cliff Barrickman's going to be there. Bobo's going to be there. Travis Walton, Fire in the Sky, the UFO abductee, he's going to be there. Linda Godfrey, Seth Breedlove, several others involved in cryptozoology and ufology. So cool stuff. Also, the International Bigfoot Conference, which is now a film festival. That's going to be taking place on Labor Day weekend. That's a little over a week away. Some great stuff going on there. Bob Gimlin's going to be one of the co-hosts, along with Russell Accord. And there's going to be other stuff going on. Seth Breedlove's going to be at that event, along with other Bigfooters. I believe Lyle Blackburn is supposed to be there. And, let's see, who else? Ohio Night Stalkers, Stacy Brown Jr. There's going to be several Bigfooters at that event who are going to be speaking and showing movies. Darth Bill Lancaster, I believe, is going to be there. If you've seen his excellent Cultured Bigfoot, then you definitely want to check that. If you haven't seen it, if you have not seen it and you live in the Kennewick, Washington area and you're going to the International Bigfoot Conference, this will be your chance. That's internationalbigfootconference.com. Should be pretty exciting. Of course, there's the Sasquatch Summit coming up in November. Also, the International Cryptozoology Conference, which is taking place in Portland, Maine. Also, the same weekend, Labor Day weekend, and Dr. Jeff Melton is going to be one of the speakers at that event. So, very exciting stuff going on. A lot of festivals and conferences, things like that. You can go to SasquatchSummit.com for further information on that event. You can probably go to cryptozoonews.com and they'll have links to the International Cryptozoology Conference. So, there you go. So anyway, guys, I know this is going kind of long, but you know me, I like to filibuster. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys, and I will catch y'all next week. Now, if there's late breaking news, of course, I will come on with that. But other than that, until next week, until next Wednesday, y'all be good or be good at it. This is May-HBM's Crypto Corner.